What do you do when you've just finished a shoot, you get home, put your photos on the computer, and your favorite shot just isn't quite as sharp as you had hoped it would be? Well, that exact thing happened to me recently. In this case, I was working with a talented young dancer that I'd worked with before on some fun creative shoots, but in this instance, she just needed some headshots. I headed over there. It was a last minute thing. I didn't have my strobes with me, but I thought we could make it work in the dance studio with the lights they had there. Well, they weren't quite as bright as I had hoped, so we ran into some problems with shutter speed, and I may even have missed focus on one of them, but I'm going to blame it on the lighting. This was the shot that she liked the best out of all the headshots, but if you zoom in, you can see the eyes just are a little soft. It was a great opportunity for me to try out some software that I had recently purchased and hadn't gotten a chance to try, and that's the photo AI tools from Topaz. I've heard a lot about these tools from other YouTubers and other photographers, so I thought this was the perfect opportunity to give it a try. So let me show you how I used it, the workflow I used, and whether it worked, because I'll be honest, the results did surprise me a little bit. So here we are in Lightroom, and if you want to use the photo AI tools like Sharpen AI, you can access it pretty easily just from right-clicking on the image and going to Edit In and picking one of them. Now, that's not what I did. The option I chose was to open this as a smart object in Photoshop, and I'm going to show you why after we jump into Photoshop. So here we are in Photoshop, and I have the image opened as a smart object. And the reason I like using it as a smart object is because the way you access the Topaz tools in Photoshop is through the filter system. And you go all the way down to the bottom here, and in this case I picked the Sharpen AI for obvious reasons. And what that does is open up the tools right from Photoshop. And as Sharpen AI opens, it's going to immediately go to the default option and pick the standard sharpening here, which in this case actually worked pretty well. As you can see, this is the original here, which was kind of blurry, and then this was the standard option. Now you can play with some of these others. What I found in using this on other images is that it really is a trial and error process. Just go through the options, see which one you think sharpens it the best, and go from there. So I'm not going to show you me going through all these options here because it really is image specific. So I just want to show you the out of focus option. In this case, I don't think it did quite as good a job on the eyes, so I'm going to go back to standard here. If you like it, click apply, and it's going to take a few seconds and it's going to put you back into Photoshop. So here we are back in Photoshop, and I'm going to show you why I like to use this as a smart object and as a smart filter. The first thing I'm going to do is invert the mask here on the smart filter, and that gets rid of all the work that Topaz did. It masks it, and here's the reason. If we zoom in, and let's go back to, let's invert that again. I don't think you need the sharpening everywhere because, as you can see, I shot this at a shallow depth of field so that even the ears aren't supposed to be in focus. So we can be a little more selective in how we use the sharpening by masking it all out. I've got a brush here at about 50, well this is 54, but around 50% flow and 100% opacity. I'm just going to paint white on the mask here because the mask is completely black, which means it's hiding the filter completely, and if I want to reveal some of the sharpening, just have to paint white on it. So first I'm going to go here through the eyes, maybe up over by the hair a little bit, and then let's get in here on the teeth and mouth and all this area up in here that's supposed to be sharp. And that way, if I hold Alt and click on the filter, you can see where I've applied the filter, because you don't necessarily need everything to be sharpened, because what's going to happen is you'll get little artifacting. So if I was going to finish off this image, I'd do some retouching on it, but that's not really what this video is about. I really just wanted to show you how useful the Sharpen AI tool could be if you missed focus on an image. And if you want to give it a try, I put a link in the description below for you to check out the photo AI tools from Topaz. But if you want to avoid having to use these kind of tools altogether and make sure your photos are sharp right out of your camera, then you're going to want to watch this video.